Everybody, this is Asielbai Sunyede, and I'm here making this video called Olokun and Their Children. I want to speak with you guys about the characteristics of children of Olokun, and this is a special request video that was asked for me to do, along with all the other videos that I get asked to do, but this is, now I get around to do this video. So I want to talk a little bit about children of Olokun really quick. If you guys don't know who Olokun is, or you know very little about Olokun and whatnot, I suggest that you go back in my videos. There's a video called Olokun and its family, and look at that video. That's an old video of me speaking and whatnot, but I still recommend that you look at the video and then proceed to looking at this video. As you all know, Olokun is a very majestic orisha. It is a primordial orisha. It is a titan. It is an orisha that has been in this earth. The energy of Olokun has been in this earth since before human beings were created. Olokun is a very secretive orisha, and with nowadays with the transition that the religions have, the religion and the faith has had and everything, Olokun has become a little bit more of a little bit more popular of a deity, and a little bit of a more relaxed entity. But Olokun itself and Olokun itself, his cult, the magnificent of the cult tends to be secretive, and the energy of Olokun tends to be a little dark. And I don't mean dark in a negative way, but I mean dark in a mysterious way. Whereas now Olokun has become a little bit more refined, and there's more people doing things with Olokun and touching Olokun more often, etc., etc. More offerings and more things are being done to Olokun on a constant basis. So now we're seeing a bit of a more of an outgrow on children of Olokun, and an outburst of children of Olokun, and there's characteristics. Olokun has always had very few children because of Olokun's way of being. There's just never been a lot of children of Olokun. Children of Olokun, the ones who get marked as their head being owned by Olokun, tend to share a few little characteristics, and I want to get into them. The main character, I personally, please do not quote me on anything that I'm saying per se, but this is just an informative video for the world and for all of you to see. I have only come across a very few amount of children of Olokun, but I have noticed certain characteristics amongst the children of Olokun that I have in fact come across with. Number one is they all tend to have some sort of eye problem or eyesight problem, and this is very interesting. They either wear glasses, or they have to wear contacts, or they have to be squinting, or the light bothers them, etc., etc., etc. This is very interesting, and this was the first thing that I ever noticed with children of Olokun, because Olokun is the orisha of the depths of the water, the mysterious life that's in darkness and whatnot, that is all the way in the bottom of the ocean. And Olokun represents things that we haven't even discovered about the world, the universe, ourselves mainly, our consciousness and our subconsciousness. So they tend to have issues with their eyesight, which is again very interesting, considering that Olokun is a deity that lives in complete and total darkness. So you would notice that as you go deeper into the ocean and whatnot, fish and whatever life forms are there, they've learned to evolve and whatnot and create their own light, or they do or they have more of a sonic radar thing that they do, and they're able to see based on sounds and things like that, rather than all of us who fish that are further up, or all of us who live outside of the ocean, that we rely very heavily on our vision and the light and this and that. So that is the number one thing that I've noticed. They all tend to have some sort of issues with their eyesight, especially, like I said, is the light bothering them, either light in the morning or light very just daylight bothering them too much. They have to squint a lot. Second characteristic about children of Olokun that I have noticed is children of Olokun tend to be meticulous with their things. They tend to be very anal about their things. They're either neat freaks or they're complete slobs. They go from one extreme, to the other. But for the most part, I've only met one that was a slob. The other few that I've met have all been extreme neat freaks. And I don't mean it in a very compulsive way, but I mean it in all of their things have to be very well lined up, and it's like the glasses have to be like this, and they want everything nicely clean and everything nicely organized and whatnot, which is a beautiful thing considering that Olokun is considered to be royalty. Olokun is considered to be a king or a queen or the ruler of an empire, because Olokun, for most people, you'll notice that whenever people speak about Olokun, they'll either say he or they'll say she or they'll say it. I'm one of the people that says it. I don't go. To me, Olokun is androgynous, so it doesn't go. It can go in either way. But I respect anybody else's views on whether you see Olokun as male or you see it as female. But the children tend to think of themselves and their house as their palace, which we all should do either way at the end of the day. But they tend to think of the house as their palace, and they tend to be very meticulous, and the way that they decorate and everything tends to be, everything has to match, and there has to be a balance. Everything with children of Olokun, I've noticed, has to have balance. If you put a glass here, there has to be another equal glass on the other side, or a mirror here and another mirror here. Like, they want to have everything balanced, and everything has to be like on a scale. Everything has to be leveled out and very well thought out and making sense. It cannot be a design that has different things and whatnot. Like, it get when designs get too abstract for children of Olokun, they tend to reject it, or they just don't like it and this and that. So they prefer things that are more linear and square and whatnot. That's, I guess, like what I've noticed when it comes to their housing in particular. A third quality that I've noticed about children of Olokun is the quality of sex. There's other orishas like Chango and whatnot that are very sexual entities. Children of Olokun are also very sexual entities. They have a very high, or they tend to have a very high sexual appetite. Multiple partners, orgies, any type of constant masturbation, or I'll say like daily masturbation is what I'll have to say. They tend to be very in need of love and very in need of the acceptance of someone else, the sexual acceptance of someone else, and receiving that. As you all know, or as you should know, Olokun has a lot of concubines. Olokun has a lot of wives and mistresses and things, and there's a lot of stories about, Olokun's. And when we say wives, we just mean sexual partners that belong to Olokun, or that Olokun, being a royal entity, has many other people that are there for its pleasure, for Olokun's pleasure. So children of Olokun also like to have that. They like to have that selection of knowing that they can pick from a certain amount of people, or that they have at least a certain amount of people that they can consider their sexual partners and their sexual whatever you want to call it. In modern days, in modern terms, children of Olokun take pride in being able to scroll through their phone and having quite a few contacts that they can call up and whatnot. This also goes into the darker side of children of Olokun have been known to participate and put themselves in situations, in sexual situations. In this case, this is the part that I'm in sexual situations that are not good for them, that are not beneficial for them, that are not beneficial for their health, but the need and the want to satisfy the sexual craving is usually higher than the actual warning, the actual personal warning or personal whatever that they may be feeling towards the act that they're doing. So example of this will be participating in a group session, a group sexual, like an orgy, knowing very well that they shouldn't be in the orgy, but the fact that they want to be in the orgy takes over whatever other morals or whatever other things that they might have set for themselves prior. So when it comes to sex, they do tend to have a bit of a weaker what's the word I'm looking for? You guys know what I'm saying. You know, they tend to be a little weaker when it comes to sex and whatnot. They're very a lot more predisposed to doing sexual things with people, even though, like I said, when they know that it's not really convenient for them to be doing something sexual with a particular person. A fourth characteristic of children of Olokun is their fashion. Their sense of fashion tends to be very important to them, and their sense of looking good and their sense of well dressing also tends to be very immense inside of them. It's very important inside of them. Um, by this I mean, not it doesn't have to be labels, it doesn't have to be like super fancy clothing, but it does have to be cute clothing, and it does have to be clothing that matches. Children of Olokun take pride in how they exhibit themselves to the world. This is a very Oshun quality also. It's taking pride in how you walk out of the house and how you see people. And like I said, children of Olokun are and third point was the sexual point. So when they go out, children of Olokun want to make sure that they look good in case that something sexual pops up, that you know they're very well presented, and they're presented to their best, and they're presented to the nicest that they can possibly look. Um, Dressing for them tends to be also in darker colors. That's another thing that I've noticed. They tend to go more for like dark blues and navy blue and dark greens and blacks and dark reds and things like that, than baby blue and yellows and you know light greens and stuff like that. Like the children of Olokun tend to dress more on the darker side, the cute darker side, than they actually want to be in the lighter side. Which again, we go back to their problems with the lighting that I have noticed. So maybe that there's some sort of connection between the way they dress and the way they feel, obviously, because that's as they're darker in feeling. This is actually this is a conversation that I had with someone once. That the darker that they dress, the nicer that they feel, and the better that they feel. Nothing was mentioned that I can remember about them dressing light and then not feeling well, but they did mention that the darker that they dress in black, the nicer that they feel, and the more secure that they feel, and whatnot, the more confident that one feels when being dressed in black. A fifth quality of children of Olokun that I have also noticed and that I've come across with is their need and their interest in food. I have a friend who is a chef, a pastry chef slash a really amazing cook, and he who was also a member of my house, a member of the LA. And after knowing this particular person, that's what gave rise to this quality of children of Olokun, because then the other people that I have met also have, the other people are not chefs, but the other people do take a lot of pleasure in cooking. Olokun is known for Olokun's appetite and Olokun's voraciousness. Voraciousness, I think is the word. I hope I'm saying that right. But for his intensity in wanting to in wanting to eat. Olokun is considered, again, the Orisha at the bottom of the ocean, and the ocean is the largest mass of that we have in the earth, and it's considered that his appetite is so intense that you're always supposed to give Olokun large amounts of offerings. So a large basket or a large plate or several plates of the same thing, etc., etc. So I've also noticed that children of Olokun have a thing for cooking. They want their cook to be, they want their food to be amazing, and for it to look good, and for it to be royal, and for the presentation, and for the taste to be really good, and the quality to be good, and whatnot and whatnot. And like I said, this one friend of mine who is a member of my house is a chef, and he takes amazing pride in his cooking and whatnot. But the other people that I have met also take pride in their cooking. They're not chefs again, but they take very pride. They want to make sure that other people like their food, and they want to make sure that their food looks good, and that there's always something fancy or something interesting. And it's very interesting to me to notice those things amongst these people, because although they're different people, their behaviors, the energy of their behavior tends to have a common thread from one to the other. Excuse me. From one to the other. And food whether they become very critical of food, whether it's their food or it's other people's food, and whether they go out to eat it or they eat it at home or they cook it or where they buy the ingredients from, they become very, very critical about their taste. So I think that their taste buds, these people, children of Olokun, I guess their taste buds are a little bit more well developed or high end than other people. Me myself, for example, I don't really, I love food and I'll eat just about anything. Um, at this point in this video and or at this point in life, I'm still a vegetarian, but I tend to eat just about anything. I'm not really picky with food, but I've noticed that the children of Olokun make a big emphasis on their food and a big emphasis on their taste and a big emphasis on um, where they're eating and how the place looks and how they feel in the place. And again, food is another one of their big qualities or big of their interests in life. A sixth quality of the children of Olokun is dreams. Every child of Olokun that I have come across with has things and issues and high-end dreams. Let me get into this. Olokun's main sign is Iroso. Iroso is the sign of the veil, it's a sign of the illusion, it's a sign of hiding things in plain sight, it's a sign of invisibility. It also represents the human consciousness and the human unconsciousness. This is where Olokun lives. This is the allegorical meaning of Olokun being the owner of the bottom of the ocean. It's the unknown. The human mind, the unknown side of the human mind, the subconsciousness and whatnot, is what gives rise to Olokun into this world. Children of Olokun have this thing. All of them so far have had, all the ones that I've come across have had this thing with their dreams. Their dreams are very intensive. Their dreams are very, they can be very vivid. They receive a lot of messages through their dreams. They seem to be able to be really good at lucid dreaming, or at least getting into lucid dreaming. I highly recommend that they should get into lucid dreaming. And any form of psychic communication through the dreams, etc., etc. So they tend to have very vivid dreaming, or when they do have dreams, they'll have very prophetic dreams, and they'll have visions and whatnot in their dreams that they will remember when they wake up. I have several stories I don't need to get into, but that were very interesting from the children of Olokun that I've met that has involved me also, for example, in which I have they have had dreams of something told me, and exactly to the down to the T of what they've dreamt is exactly what has happened. So dreaming is a very important thing. Remember, when you go into sleep, it's very easy for the spirits and for everyone that's out there to influence you, because you're such such a relaxed state that it's easier for information to be processed. A lot of us tend to forget our dreams, or we say we don't have dreams, etc., etc. But children of Olokun have this knack for remembering their dreams and whatnot. If you're a child of Olokun, you need to start working with your dreams and working with things. Programming yourself to dream certain things, or programming yourself to catch yourself and then be able to do some sort of lucid dreaming and some sort of dream work and dream magic, etc., etc. Also, this goes into visions. Children of Olokun have a lot of visions. They'll either have visions while they're awake, or they'll have the visions while they're in a between state, falling into sleep, when you are in a very relaxed state of mind. They tend to have very strong visions for themselves and for others, etc., etc. So I highly recommend that children of Olokun do a lot of work with their dreams. Get some dream dictionaries. Learn to do some sort of lucid dreaming. Any form of closing the eyes, any type of magic in which you're just closing the eyes and you're utilizing your mind. Children of Olokun, again, have a very strong sense of the mind and a very strong sense of their unconsciousness. Working with the unconsciousness is what makes you conscious of things to then create them in the world. So children of Olokun have a knack for that. Another form of divination that I want to get into for children of Olokun is scrying. Scrying is very similar in my opinion, to I guess to lucid dreaming, because you just relax and you go in, not lucid dreaming, I'm sorry, into just dreaming, because you relax and you allow things to pop out, and your mind to go wild and whatnot. So I highly always have recommended children of Olokun to do some scrying. Either you're scrying with, if you don't know what scrying is, you need to go do some research on what scrying is. But scrying with a crystal ball, scrying with water, scrying with a mirror, scrying with your cauldron, scrying with anything, with crystals, etc., etc. I highly recommend it. I have noticed that children of Olokun have a knack for scrying. They become when they go into the trance of scrying and whatnot, it becomes very interesting of a reading to get from a child of Olokun. Besides any other form of divination that they might develop and they might do whatnot, I highly recommend scrying. Olokun, being such an high entity, such an intense titan, is a beautiful entity for you to work with any form of divination. If you're a child of Olokun and you are attracted to tarot cards or the Dilogun or I Ching or the runes or whatever, I don't care what you're attracted to divination wise, as your personal practice and as your personal prophecy based oracle. uh, Children of Olokun have really good spiritual senses, so you definitely want to get involved with some sort of divination, whatever the divination may be. You know, that's up to you. That's a personal choice, but definitely allowing yourself to learn at least one system of divination really, really well, at least one system of divination that you can rely on very heavily, even though it may not be an Orisha divination system. I highly suggest that you develop at least one good, strong divination system for yourself as a child of Olokun. That goes beyond saying, obviously, that goes for every single person who's religious. You should always develop at least one strong divination system for yourself, either for yourself or to be able to rely or to pass it on to the public, etc., etc. But when it comes to children of Olokun, I highly suggest scrying, giving it a try, giving it several tries, and or scrying with several different items on several different nights, or different, playing around with it, but definitely getting into the divination. Another quality of children of Olokun that I have also noticed is their sense and their need to be successful. They need to have, or they have this inner feeling that they need to have the big house, and this is similarly with Olokun's palace. Considering that Olokun has always lived in some sort of palace, an underwater palace, or whatever you want to say, but they tend to like bigger places than they do smaller places, and they tend to have this sense of their goals tend to be of having larger homes than other people who want to have like a regular house, a 2-bedroom house or something. Children of Olokun tend to want to have 3 to 5 just mansions and things like that. They tend to be their measurement of success is very well attached to their materialistic possessions. So a nice car, a good home, good neighborhoods, good amounts of money, good clothing, good this, good that, good the other. They tend to have this sense of what they consider their success is their acceptance of themselves, and the community accepting themselves, accepting of them, and how they're showing themselves to the community. It's again, we go back to Olokun being royalty, and Olokun being a king, or Olokun being this gigantic titan, that their children also want to walk in and be known as, such and such person, and they want to be not precisely the center of attention, but they want their presence to be acknowledged, that they're in the room. Although, another quality of children of Olokun, they tend to be very quiet. They want their presence to be known from the side, So a lot of them, I've noticed, they tend to walk away, or they'll tend to go into a corner, or they'll be very quiet. They'll be very analytical. They'll be very thoughtful of everybody. They'll look at everything. They'll look at everyone. They'll look at their surroundings. They'll analyze everything. They'll pick the people that they like. They'll pick the people that they don't. Obviously, they'll socialize with some. They won't socialize with others, but they tend to be very reserved. But when they do give their opinion on something or on someone, they tend to be, uh, I don't want to say it too much, but they tend to be pretty right on their opinion and on um, the way that they reached that conclusion tends to be very solid. Whereas other people, we tend to be a little bit more emotional, or you know, like you like this person because of this and you don't like that person because of the other and whatnot. Whereas children of Olokun tend to see deeper and sensing who the person is and what the person's true intentions are and what they really want, etc., etc. So they tend to really go deeper into the feelings of people and into people being able to say something or trying to communicate whatever they're trying to hide or whatnot. They tend to be able to read through the illusions that people and the walls that people are putting up, etc., etc. I think this is all I have for this video right now, to be completely honest. I'm trying to think of anything else, but I really cannot come up with anything. But Children of Olokun are magnificent. I hope you guys have learned this video. Oh, what did I just say? I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have learned something from this video. Hit me up with all your comments, all your messages, all your things. Continue to look me up. Remember, you can find me on Facebook under SEO Bias, or you can look me up on my online store, Sweet Onyi Designs. You can send me an email at sweetonyidesigns@gmail.com. And send me more of your comments and send me more of your video topics and everything, and I will continue to do videos for you guys. This is my pleasure and my love. And for all the children of Olokun out there, please, I hope that you watch this video. I hope that it reaches you in light and progress, and I hope that you learn something about yourself. That if you know any other qualities, please message me. I would love to find out more qualities. I'm constantly looking for all these things because Orisha is my life. Orisha is my essence, you know. So any qualities, if you anything else that I may have skipped or I may have forgotten or I just haven't come across, I would love it. Oh, I also want to say, Olokun does not get crowned directly on the head for the most part. Nowadays, people are more open to crowning Olokun because of all the interaction that has happened. The religion has expanded itself too much, and I'm going to get into a topic on that on another video on crowning auto versus crowning direct. But I've met one person who has Olokun direct, and then the other people that I have met have Yemaya or Olokun crowned. So we'll get into the topic in another video. But thank you so much for watching me. I'm Maferefun Olokun, and I will see you guys in the next video. Ache, 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 do.